what a flame. Got a vibe with the gang. You know my name, you don't know my pain. They counting me out every second. You know who's in front, so I'm coming in second. They hit on my flows, but they use me as reference. Gassing myself cause he don't got a preference. I see these fools flying, they ain't safe. They doing the most right in front of my face. I know that we got it, we up like an addict. On the phone, we bought it, we know what it takes. They still trying to find a way to win. Type that guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up. They still trying to find a way to win. Type that guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up. You don't gotta see. All you need is faith, the size of a mustard seed. It was hard to believe, but I know God is with me. Look what he's done for me. I'm still on a mission, don't bother me. They're playing the game like it's hide and seek. Giving the bag, just wait and see. Don't tell them to sell for accuracy. You don't know all the pain I felt. It just felt like I went through hell. Started riding when I was 12. 10 years later, I'm doing well. When you need them the most, they gon' sell. Call him God, he'll pay for the bell. No one's perfect, we all gonna fail. I follow God, I'm behind him like a tail. They tryna take me out, gotta switch it, I'm running a different route. I'm too different, I don't fit in with the crowd. I'm too busy just tryna make mama proud. Talking down on the game, that's not allowed. Better watch what you say when we around. I can go on for days, I got plenty rounds. I got angels surrounding me, look around. Yeah, they still tryna find a way to win. Type the guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up.
Where's Da Vinci?
Find a way to win. Type that guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my that guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up. Yeah, I got them fed up for real. Running around, but I'm the passenger now. Cause Jesus done took the wheel. What is it now? I know they all want the crown. It's heavy like 200 pounds. You in or you out, you better stop running your mouth. I got wings, ain't no shooting me down. Heaven sent, I'm a saint. Leave it all in the paint. In my bag on the way to the bank. If you chase, then you know your fate. Too precise, we don't gotta aim. They see us coming, oh, what a flame. Got a vibe with the gang. You know my name, you don't know my pain. They counting me out every second. You know who's in front, so I'm coming in second. They hit on my flows, but they use me as reference. Gassing myself cause he don't got a preference. I see these fools flying, they ain't safe. They doing the most right in front of my face. I know that we got it, we up like an addict. On the phone, we bought it, we know what it takes. They still trying to find a way to win. Type that guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up. They still tryna find a way to win. Type that guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up. You don't gotta see. All you need is faith, the size of a mustard seed. It was hard to believe, but I know God is with me. Look what he's done for me. I'm still on a mission, don't bother me. They're playing the game like it's hide and seek. Giving the bag, just wait and see. Don't tell them to sell for accuracy. You don't know all the pain I felt. It just felt like I went through hell. Started riding when I was 12. 10 years later, I'm doing well. When you need them the most, they gon' sell. Call him God, he'll pay for the bell. No one's perfect, we all gonna fail. I follow God, I'm behind him like a tail. They tryna take me out, gotta switch it, I'm running a different route. I'm too different, I don't fit in with the crowd. I'm too busy just tryna make mama proud. Talking down on the game, that's not allowed. Better watch what you say when we around. I can go on for days, I got plenty rounds. I got angels surrounding me, look around. Yeah, they still tryna find a way to win. Type the guy that's when it all begins. I don't need a rollie on my wrist. Perfect timing, got with the assist. I've been working since I was a kid. I just gotta keep my head up. Running, I'm never gon' let. I'll never feed the haters cause they fed up.
Where's Da Vinci? Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Freeze coming at you with our weekly live stream. And today, we got a couple of topics we're going to talk about. So, we're going to continue our series talking about the top 4 stars. So, today I'm going to look at the Warrior class, talk about that a little bit. And I actually put out a little bit of info out there just to kind of gauge you guys' interest on my community tab this week. And I'll talk to you about a little bit about some of you guys' choices that I saw on the community tab. And then also, we got the new bot specific core coming out for Knockout. And we also have Skids, G1 Skids core coming out. So we'll get to take a look at that. First look at that tonight as well. And yeah, man, it should be a good time. And we'll see what else we get into over the course of the stream. But first, before we do anything, let me take a look at this week's newsletter. All right, and I'm actually halfway across it right now. So we're going to talk about, so if you guys hadn't noticed, it's a new format for the newsletter now. And honestly, I kind of like it. I think it's very clean. But this is and it breaks it down. So the Cyber Pass is in season 8. This is the 8th Cyber Pass we've had, and then it's week 4 of the current saga. As you all know, that we have 4-week sagas now, and the first thing they start talking about is thanking everybody filling out the survey, which we'll talk about a little bit more. But first, we'll talk about this weekend's event. And this weekend's event is called Proving Grounds. It's an Alliance Totalizer, 1.5 million point event, 150 prestiges. And honestly, man, it's got some pretty good prizes in there. So you have 300 times Proving Grounds chips, which each can contain a chance to win the new Sidetrack and Growl. If you haven't seen my video on it, my last live stream, I actually talked about the combat bot Growl for the con side, obviously, with the Autobot counterpart being Sidetrack. It's pretty good, guys. So I would go out there and try to play this event and give yourself as many chances as you can to go get those chips. Now, one thing I was looking at is actually a bunch of different ways for you to go get the Proving Ground chips. So when you look at it, tells you how what each Proving Ground chip could contain. It could be a 4, 3, or 2-star combat, so 25% chance at that, 25% chance at 1,000 premium shards, 25% chance at 100 3-star shards, or 25% chance at 50 of your 4-star shards. So not too bad, especially for the amount of effort being put in. You also get up to 150 premium combat chips, 150 battle tactics chests, and that's going to drop either MK3 battle booster, so it'd be Titan Blast or Titan Smite. Those aren't my favorite battle boost, so we'll see how that part goes. But you get 150 building power core chips that's going to drop either a silver, gold, or G metal chip, and they actually got that chart underneath there too, saying that each building power core chip is going to give you either a 75% chance of the silver building core, a 20% chance of the gold building core, or a 5% chance of the G metal building core. So I actually do really like those odds a lot, and I like those odds just because, for one thing, we know that we're going to go get new prime cores soon, defensive prime cores, and one of the things that I'm looking for is to gather as many building power cores as I can, and it's tough, and I'll show you why it's actually tough for me. I'll take a look at it right now, because for me, I made a couple of good pulls this week, and I'll show you what I got. Because for me, I finally got Target Protocol, and I'm pretty excited about it. I want to go spend some of my building cores now. I got a decent amount right now, let me go over to the battle screen, to the game screen, and I'll show you what I got real quick. And that is not what I got. Alright, let me go back to the lab, and it looks like I got disconnected from it looks like I got disconnected from my main server, so I will come back to that, and I will actually go back into the newsletter. Kind of trips me out. I said I was just in here looking at the I was just in here just looking at making sure all my checks were going correctly for, you know, my mirroring, and yeah, that just kind of threw me off. So yeah, so I'll get that straight real quick while we go through the newsletter. But yeah, like I said, it's a pretty good event. You're gonna have 300k spark, combined spark, and combat spark as well. And then you also gonna have 30 million of alloy and energon, which you're gonna need eventually for your upgrades for HQ18. So yeah, I think that's a good way to go. And yeah, man, like I'm really excited about it. So I think it's a good event. I just put my bid in early in the week. I think that I'm gonna go for it all. I'm gonna go for the event completion. Just because a lot of things, you know, those combat bots that we're getting, I'm working really, really hard to try to get as many as I can for many 5-star combat chips for the future. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is just trying to go after that and make sure that I can get the 5-star combats I want. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the upcoming cyber pass, so I can get even more 5-star chips. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time, I feel like. All right, so that's what we're looking at event wise. Typical battle zones, you know, and stuff like that. All right, so some game updates and information. So it's the last call for the survey, and that's the survey that I was talking about last stream. They're talking about burnout, and to be honest, I think this is a topic that, so it's been some mixed reviews about that, and just going through my notes preparing for today's show, one of the things that I saw is that a lot of people, you know, like when in playtest, we were talking about some of the things that make a good survey, and one of the things that came up is that this particular survey, a lot of us didn't feel like it was a good measure of how you get burned out, and the reason that was given is primarily because players that are really engaged are going to be the ones who are putting in the survey, and already Space Ape is saying that they didn't see a tremendous amount of responses saying that there was burnout or anything like that. And so me personally, I said, yeah, you know, there's a little bit of burnout going on. There's definitely a little bit of burnout on my end. Not like to the point that I'm going to quit the game or anything like that, but I was like, certain modes I just don't like. I don't like doing Titan Assault. I think it's dumb. As a matter of fact, some of the play testers today were talking about how excited they were to get done with Titan Assault. You know, they get maxed out the Triptychon, and they maxed out Metroplex. I think that's worth considering when you go look at these things. Let me test it out to see if I can actually get back to the game screen, and I'll show you what it is that I'm looking at. And yeah, now it's working properly. So for me, when I go look at my Titan lab, and you notice that I still have, so I'm about halfway there to maxing out my my Titan Spark. And honestly, I understand what the fellow playtesters were talking about. I missed about 2 weeks here since I got to level 20 Triptychon. But it's tough, man. Like, I don't want to do it. It's a boring game mode. So for me, I understand what they're saying fully. I really do. Ooh, excuse me. I went to the wrong screen. So I'm going to go back to the newsletter screen. And yeah, I think that's one of those things that's important when you're talking about burnout. And I really would like to see just us, I really like to see just some really, really good constructive feedback for that. I mean, Cyberpass, I feel like it kind of pulls you away from what you would normally do in the game. One of the things I was talking about was leveling bots has been really, really tough. And I was just looking into the chat just now. Lord Avix was talking about the Titan at level 20. He's got his at level 20, and he's got 1.3 million saved already. And yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's great. It's got to be a really, really good feeling when you look at that, because for me, when I was initially going through, just for simple stuff, I took a vacation for about a week, and that set me back. And then I'll be honest, I got kind of lazy once I had level 20 a little bit. But I reminded myself, I said, hey, man, I got to hit this because I want to max out, and I don't want to fall behind when it gets to that, because then that's going to cause me, some problems in wars. So I suspect that a lot of guys that have been working on theirs heavily are going to have theirs capped out, and then they're going to coin through immediately. All right, so, but yeah, please do the survey, because right now, as it stands, SpaceSafe is under the impression that, everything is fine, nobody's burnt out about anything, and, that's kind of where we're at. All right, so toy giveaways, we've been talking about that for a while. Skids and Knockout, so they got their specific power cores. Now Skids is going to have a G1 power core, because Skids was actually in Generation 1. Knockout, they're trying to figure out what they want to call it, but yeah, it's a pretty good core, man, and you can actually see some graphics for it. I'll talk a little bit about it tonight, because I think that that's just to see if anybody's interested, because here's the thing, they're going to be selling bundles. They're going to allow you to get some Spark, some Skids, or Knockout shards. And it's also going to allow you some chances at G1 core chip to try to go in there and actually get that core as it first comes out. And so, anytime you go for anything like that, you want to know what it is that you're dealing with. So I'm going to go look at that a little bit tonight. New combats I kind of talked about on the last stream, but Sidetrack and Growl. You can actually see for Texas Hammer has some graphics up here for Sidetrack, and Sidetrack and Growl is going to be the same thing. And then the playtesters had all their thoughts in here about the new combat, and for the most part, I'm not going to read through them, but most of the feedback was pretty positive. There were some folks who just thought that the combat was a little underwhelming, which I understand, man. I'm not a huge fan, and you can actually see my comments in here too. It's actually a link to my video too. If you hadn't seen the video about Growl, you can go into the newsletter and click on that link, and it'll take you directly to it. And that was my review that I did on the last live stream. But to be honest, I see a lot of value in it for minion combat, and I keep about 2 minion combats on my team, because right now I'm running double healers, and that's where I typically put my minion combats. But one of the things that I was saying on the video and in my review for play test was that you can also use it kind of like as a sack bot. I think it's a really, really good combat, and most of the playtesters agree with me. Cyber Pass Season 9, they've already put out, Space Ape already put out all the information for it on this chart. But one of the things I really like, man, like I was looking at the skins and it's funny to me because like the Autobots that I see the content create always seem to think that we get the better skins. I actually usually like the Autobot skins, but in this particular case, I do like the Galvatron skin. So it's going to be Galvatron and Ultra Magnus to get the skins this time. And yeah, both of them are really, really good. But I actually like ours better this time. So that's what we're going to get. This time is going to be the pass that comes with the 5-star combat. You know, those chips. And so that's what we're looking at this go around. I think it's going to be good. I actually like it because for me, my combat, and I'm going to pull it up real quick, because for me, my combats are going to be, I'm hoarding right now because I could actually get 2 combats. And so that's kind of, I'm going to move it over so it's not behind my head, but that's what I'm looking at. And like I've been telling you guys, I'm waiting for this to break apart because I don't want this first 5 with Power Punch, Sins, SG, Ravage, Slugfest, and Heartburn. I do like those bots, don't get it twisted, but I want to go for the one with Baru, Roller Force. I want to go for Fracas. I want to go for Growl. You know, I want to go for those kind of combats. So that's what I'm really looking at when it comes to that. But so yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing those 5-star chips. Content creator corner. So we got so yeah, we get, you know, you get all of our official content creators making their content. Arrow, DJ Hart, Engineer Horse, Grind Time, Soldier, and Sunshrika Waza. You can actually see his latest video, which he's talking about, you know, what is a 5-star Omega Supreme, or, you know, for us on the con side, Overlord versus a level 25 4-star combiner. So good content, check it out. And then, you know, we got a bunch of our unofficial content creators too that really are doing their thing out there. You know, Just Elite is I try to catch his every time I can. Now sometimes I'm a little bit too busy with real life stuff, but I said I always try to catch Just Elite. I always try to catch Professional Husky, and I always try to catch Deception over at his channel, To Punish and Enslave. So it's a lot of really, really good content out there. So those are just a few of the names. All of those guys are actually linked into my channel. So if you want to go look at some other stuff in your free time, go check that out on my channel. Community corner, as always, lots of great artwork. Oh, here we actually got a pumpkin, you know, filling the whole Halloween theme. So you got Sound Blaster up there. And so right now we're at the end of this point in the saga, week 4 of the saga, when you have your 1.5 million point event. And honestly, man, there was a lot of talk in playtest this week about exactly that. Like, where do you feel like how do you feel about the current event schedule? Personally, I kind of like it. There was some concerns about really just people getting burnt out from having too many events, and because they're so close together, those 1.5 mils, particularly those who are organizing events. But we'll see how it goes, and that's why I said it's really important for the survey, because if you feel that way, you gotta let Space Ape know so they change it. All right, some bug fixes and improvements. So, you know, you had a bunch of bots that had saying they had like 9,999 range and speed. That's a bug. It's been fixed. You know, it's visual. Skyrain and Galvatronus, they had altered the ability, the Typhoon ability. Typhoon is what they have for Skyrain. So you're really looking more at your barrage ability for Galvatronus, and it's saying that all the orbs will just fire out and sometimes will miss the buildings that you're aiming for. So that's been fixed. There's some problems with damage over time, where basically when you were dealing with it was dealing more damage from either a power core, war effect, or a Titan perk, then the DOT attack would do more damage on that building, and then conversely, same thing would happen if the building had reduced damage. So that's been fixed. Skids Knockout was having some problems with different combat bots, specifically Trench Foot and Caliburst, and then Top Shot and Fireline. Well, that has been fixed as well, and that push will come out tomorrow. And then both G1 cores will be available with the G1 pool. So if you got a bunch of them that you saved, then once that content push comes out tomorrow, that'll be the time to look at it. And if you got more questions about it, then you can always talk about it on Space Ape Stream. They are scheduled for tomorrow. And that's all the news that we got so far. All right, so we are going to take a look. We'll go to the game screen. And we will take a look at, I'm going to actually back out for a second. I'm going to go to my test account so that we can take a look at the new bot specific core for Knockout. And, you know, it'll be a G1 core for Skids. They don't want to call it G1 for Knockout because Knockout is from Prime. So since he's from that series, they're going to make it a bot specific core, still treat it the same. But that's what we're looking at. All right. So talking about the Knockout bot specific core, I'll actually go to my bot cores and you can take a look at what they're going to have going on for him. Let's see. I think that let me take a look at where they found where I put that at. All right, so that's what we're looking at. Now keep in mind, I don't know if that's gonna be the name of the power core, but right now they asked me my opinion. My opinion was basically they just call it like something kind of like how they have like Star Screams like crown. Maybe they do like knockouts buzzsaw or something like that, since he was always doing that in the Prime series. Try to relate it a little bit more to the lore a little bit, but either way, what the core is going to do is it's going to increase the special ability damage by a percentage. Right now, what we've been playing around with, and we've been looking at this power core honestly in playtest for weeks. It's going to be it looks like it's going to be 19.3%, and it's going to be a health regeneration factor as well. Now for me, I always like the concept of individual healing. So regeneration of 5% is pretty good, you know, in my opinion. And Lord David says, so they released 2 cores now and the rest, and the new G1 batch to HQ18. And he also says that 5% health regeneration is nice. Yeah, I have to agree. I think that it's a pretty good power core. I'm debating about how hard I want to pursue the power core, but just because I know, and here's my biggest gripe with G1 cores, is that with G1 cores, I always find myself wanting to go back to the Prime cores that I have. And so I kind of wonder, do I want to use this more than I want to use certain combat and Prime core pairings? But we can go check it out. I got it equipped to him right now. We can go give it a quick spin and see how it looks. And I'm just going to jump out of the game screen real quick. and we'll see what this core looks like. Now, right now, I got a modified version of a team that I was working on. I'm going to make a couple of changes real quick. I'm going to throw Acid Storm in here. And I also want to give Impactor the Amalgamous Prime Core. And we'll give it a running battle. We got a comment in the chat that says any gunner that self-heals is great. I gotta agree. I like any bot that self-heals, period. This is why, and when you look at my team makeup, it's very evident. And if you guys have been listening to me for a while, I've been saying it for several months. You've gotta make your bots heal. So like Impactor, I like the Amalgamous Prime Core. Same thing with Armada Megatron, or Laser Optimus on the Autobot side. Same thing when I was raw good. So when I see regen on Knockout, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about that particular bot. All right. So here we got so I'm gonna take a modified version of my team, and I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna try to bring it in close to a couple of outposts and see what happens. Primarily because I want to see what Knockout does. This new G1 cool. So I'm gonna actually try to attack some of these bots, and if you watch them closely, you can actually, well, I got them a little bit too bunched up. I'm gonna try to get them separate. And that was just and Doja Cat has joined the chat. Thanks for joining. And let me see if I can get Knockout isolated a little bit, because I'm testing out the new core. Testing out the new core, and for bot specific core for Knockout, G1 core would be for Skids. And I actually just want to take another look at that regen. So I'll actually try to isolate him a little bit, see how he works. I'm actually trying to get my Knockout to level 60 this weekend. So I'll take one day out of the weekend, probably Sunday, and try to dedicate it to that. I'm also working on my Nemesis Prime. So I'll do the same thing I always do. I'll use Nemesis along with Skids. And what I want to do, I want to get him to where he's taking a little bit of damage first. Alright, he's in position now where I think he can take some damage. See if I can get some regen going. Oh man, yeah, that's actually pretty good regen off of that power core. And, yeah, he's getting around 775 based off of, his special ability use. So, 5% regen. Man, honestly, it's not bad, guys. And if you go get them in the correct pairing, like I'm using here with Nemesis Prime, that's going to allow you the opportunity to just regen your way back up to decent health. That and the fact that I'm really starting to like this, but I'm really looking at the concept of all these different combos that you can run. But yeah, so anything that's gonna bring additional health, I really like. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Alright, so I got a request that says to run knockout with this core and fracas, so it'll be 5% and 80% of damage dealt. So honestly, so I'm gonna get back in the screen real quick. So that's my first thought. Like for this, I did for demonstration purposes. But yeah, by all means, yeah, we can run that. And we can run that for sure. Like I would, because I think that fracas is a really good pairing with knockout. And yeah, so you can see that we're getting the ability 11. Not really gonna be able to talk about that too much. It's not finished, so whatever you just saw on the screen is not gonna be where we're at. We're still actually working that one, but yeah, we can definitely take a look at that region with fracas and the knockout bot specific core. So zone 15, I'll go run it in zone 15 real quick, and we'll just take a look at how that looks, just so we can get a decent gauge numbers wise. Like we already know that ability 11 for knockout is coming soon. So let's see, we'll do same thing, knockout, Nemesis Prime. And he's just getting stupid amounts of. And one of the conversations we were having in playtest is like a lot of the veterans around there don't really like this bot. His ability is, I think most people like his G1 core, but I think it's the bot itself and the ability that people really don't like. And I actually think his ability is really cool. I think that the way that we play the game is changing a little bit, and I think we got to change with it. But I mean, he's holding up really, really well. So let's go in now that we get ready to hit some of these outposts. Go ahead and throw a shield up there so these guys keep fighting. But yeah, with fracas, who I'm a really huge fan of, by the way. I think fracas is, when I first made that video about fracas, I asked the question, hey, is he one of the best in the game? Combat was it. I asked, is he the top combat in the game? I'm really looking forward to fracas. I'm hoarding all of my combat chips to get fracas. And honestly, one of the comments we're getting in here is, oh man, he could solo. Yeah, he actually could solo. Like I was just kind of just playing around just to kind of demonstrate what he can do. But you could actually see how long his he lasted with that power core and fracas. I think it's a really, really good gunner. I think it's already a little bit underrated of a gunner. And I'm working mines out. I got mines. Mines is going to level 60 this weekend. I can promise you that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the new power core. I imagine that Space Ape is going to show a little bit more on their live stream tomorrow, and so you can kind of just look at it from their viewpoint, and ask them questions about it also. So yeah. All right. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about is I had put out on my community tab earlier in the week, as we were talking about 4-star combat bots and 4-star bots. And we've been doing a little bit of a series talking about 4-star bots, and we've been going through each class. And now I want to talk about the 4-star warriors. So in the community tab, one of the things that I asked is like, well, who was your favorite and why? And a lot of people like Cola Gun and Twin Twist. So we'll go run them real quick. Now I know I already did a video, but I focused mostly on the 5-star in the video. But I think that I think he works pretty good even as a 4-star. So let's check him out in action. And I just got him there thrown in there with a couple of random bots. Just to kind of show off his power. I'll go in zone 15 again. Doja Cat says that he runs Fracas on Acid Storm and Nemesis Prime works great. And so yeah, I have to agree with you on that. And I can actually run through those scenarios in a little bit, because when I first did my Fracas video, one of the things I was looking at was Nemesis Prime, just because he does so much damage. But Acid Storm, I feel like I can get even more damage out of, so I started using that. Alright, so this is the 4-star maxed out. Oh, you know what? And I forgot to go back in there and put Amalgamus on. I forgot to put Amalgamus on this dude, on Cola Gun. But he's still holding up pretty well without it. And you know, you can see I got that combat bot, the new combat bot Growl in there with him as well. I know this is a pairing that I got a request for in my last live stream, but I do have to agree with my followers on this one. Cola Gun, even as a 4-star, is a force to be reckoned with. Let me go in there and change his power cores, and we'll see what we can do with him and Growl. That's one of the things I didn't do last week. Why I did it, but I didn't put the Amalgamus Prime core on him. So let's try that and see how that works out, because I think that's going to give you a really big boost between the two. So we'll take a look at what I'm actually using. I'm using the 4-star maxed out. We'll go in there and we'll throw the Amalgamus Prime core. I mean, the dude is already pretty solid without the Amalgamus Prime core, but with it, he's going to maintain his health a lot. And so that's one of the things that I look for when I'm talking about really any of my Amalgamus Prime carriers. Alright, so we'll run it again. We'll run it this time with Cola Gun and the Amalgamus Prime core. Zone 15 again. Because I think that when you use the 4-star, if you know, and like for me, I went for the 4-star when that event came up. Just because I was like, you know, I don't want to put in that kind of time. I actually thought at the time that event was going to be a little bit more difficult than it was, and then I went for knockout, and I said, you know what, these events aren't too bad, I'll do it. Alright, so we got Cola Gun, Amalgamus Prime, cool. Growl just jumped into action. And you can see when you look at his health bar, I mean, granted, he's under direct fire from the minigun, or from both MDS, because he's got the laser MDS also. And he's still doing a pretty decent job. And you know, with that level of damage that he does, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And if I wouldn't have went directly into some MDS, and if I wouldn't have been using him solo, you know, that's he tore up a lot of stuff. So he definitely makes my list of 4 stars that I really, really like. Now, another bot that I like, that's a warrior class, and also I like him as a 4-star. I actually like, let me take Acid Storm out and let me go to class. I actually like Blot and Rook a lot. And the reason for that is I like decoys, man, but I say I like him because he's a little bit stronger than some of the other decoy bots. Now I'm not necessarily looking for damage, but when I look at stuff like FFD, FFD, kind of messed up a lot of different stuff, just because most of the warrior class bots at the time were ones that rush in. And I got a bunch of different comments up there in the chat right now. Let's see. Sean McKeon just joined the chat. Welcome. And he says run KO first, then Kologon. Yeah, I can come back to that. Definitely. Just if I try to like not do it, just remind me, because I'll go in there. I'll definitely like to run that. Alright, so I like the holograms, and I also like to use Fangtron because I get multiple holograms. And I also like, one of the things I really like about Blot is his walk speed, because I can just kind of just keep him with the team. But I just like that level of protection that you get from using that hologram, and the fact that it also causes a little bit of damage. He's pretty steady as a 4-star. Obviously, if you get a 5-star, I'm actually thinking about going to his 5-star batch next. What I want to see how the next 5-star batch turns out. I kind of got guys running all over the place right now, but yeah, that hologram on Blot pops a lot of outpost. And honestly, because I use Soundwave at the same time, now you have multiple outpost poppers, and so that's what I'm looking at. All right, and right now I'm just letting the bass come down. I'm not even playing right now, so I'm looking in the chat. Sean McKeon says, "Don't take Acid Storm out. Is you crazy?" Yeah, I'm definitely going. I like Acid Storm. I'm actually planning a lot of my my future strategies around Acid Storm. Like, as a matter of fact, let me go to my live account so you can see how far I've starting to come with my Acid Storm. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't run him as hard as I probably should have in the very beginning, and now I'm trying to play catch up because I'm looking at future tactics and I want to make sure I'm doing them right. But Acid Storm for me right now is at level 51. I'm gonna run him a lot over this weekend's event. It's just like I got a lot of projects going on right now. I got Nemesis Prime 5-star going right now. I got Knockout that I'm running right now. Acid Storm is like third on my list. Is guys that I want to make sure that I level up good. So hopefully I can get him good and deep. I think maybe I can probably get him, depending on how I use it, how I play my cards, I probably can get him to around level 57 or 58 this weekend. And then during the endurance event, I can just kind of run him to his full potential. But I think that's what I'm really looking at in terms of Acid Storm. I also got a question in the chat from OS73. First off, thanks for joining. How do you rate Dinobot? Is the question that he asked. And honestly, I rate Dinobot pretty high as a 4-star. He's in my honorable mention category for this one. I like Blot a little bit more. My problem is with a 4-star Dinobot, keep in mind with the pack hunting ability, Dinobot is going to follow his holograms, and I think that gets him in a little bit trouble. With the 5-star, it's not as big as a problem, and it's been proven a couple of times. Like Deception did a video on it immediately when we got the 5-star, just trying to showcase how deadly Dinobot and Dinobot 2 can be. But that's one of those jobs I feel like that's a job for the 5-star as opposed to the 4-star. But he's definitely in my list. He's really, really close. Didn't quite make this list this time, but that's how I look at that. Alright, so let me go honor that request that I said I would do with, let's see, it was Knockout and run Knockout first and then Cola Gun. So let's do that. Alright, so let's see. Go in there with Knockout. And I get it, man. Honestly, it's a good concept. We're going to run Knockout to go in there first and then use Cola Gun. I mean, I imagine you finish off a couple of a couple of outpost spots like that. So yeah, I get it. So we'll just go ahead and run Knockout, Nemesis, and Cola Gun. Cola Gun is out front. And yeah, so I'll actually run it on this wall also because it'll make it go a little bit faster. Now also want to try it on the outpost spot. And Cola Gun kind of ran away from the group, so let me see if I can get these guys to regroup a little bit, and then I'll try it again. This might be a good example because now we got Blaster coming out. So let me let him set up. I already got, we'll run Blaster with his minions. Oh man, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And last 2 streams in a row when I just got Blaster to come down really quickly. So I like that a lot. Because I mean he's kind of tough to kill at times, so yeah, I definitely like that. That's cool. And another thing I like about Cola Gun and really any warrior class bot is I like the stun immunity. I like that aspect of it also. So like when you just saw a leader 1 and Star Saber come out, and it's just like, all right, whatever, they can kind of go in there and take that hit and then continue on with what they were doing. Alright, cool. So, that takes care of 2 bots on our list. And Doja Cat says, I would like a 5-star Tantrum to pair up with my Nemesis Prime. So, ironically enough, Tantrum is the second bot that came up on everybody's list when they were talking and when they were answering my community question about their favorite 4-stars. Now, Tantrum is one of those warriors that's really close to my heart because Tantrum is one of the first bots that I put when I made an actual war team. I built a lot of it around that 4-star Tantrum, and he really got me out of a lot of jams for a long period of time. So let me go to class. That'll be easier to find if I go to class. Oops. Not Breakdown Prime. That's not what I was looking for. And so I got him here on my test account. Got him at level 63 on the test account. This is regular rejuvenate. I do like his ability 11 because you know you get the explosions that come along with his ability 11. So I'll actually run that up real quick. I actually got ability 11 on his. I got ability 11 on his 5-star on my live account. Actually, I'll just do that. I'll just go to my live account. And Sunstreaker Waza has just joined the chat. What's going on, buddy? Alright, so let's see. I'll take Ramjet out. And I will put Tantrum in. I actually got attacked the other day by somebody using Tantrum, and I was like, it actually, you know, it's funny to say, like it actually warmed my heart a little bit to see that I was getting attacked by Tantrum. Oh yeah, I was gonna run the ability 11, so I want to show the ability 11. So I'll show that on the 5-star, but then we'll see how the 4-star compares. And Sean McKeon says that the KO Kolagon combo is fire. One of the Horde guys helps me with stuff. Now, that's cool, man. Like, I actually, you know, being in the Horde myself, I hadn't heard that particular piece of feedback about it. But to be honest, it's probably one of those things that's worth mentioning. Now, for me, FFD and the MSMs kind of messed up a bunch of the tactics for Tantrum. But previously, before that, a lot of people was go use him to, you know, kind of use a Tantrum sack. And then you could also get some reflect some damage back to your attackers. So that was really where the value was at. I think he's still valuable. I've backed off of my rushing tanks a lot over recent times. But I like that 5-star with that additional damage from that special ability. Now with the 4-star, you can actually run that pretty similarly. So let's take a look at, well, first off, let's take a look at the stats that I got on my 5-star. I got him at level 61, and we can actually kind of compare to the 4-star that I got on my test account. And Doja Cat says that he always goes after build bots first. He always snipes the build bots first. For me, it depends. Like, a lot of times, a lot of people are trying to stop different things. Like, for me, the only thing that's really going to be bothersome to me is the force field disruptor. But at the same time, I'll see a lot of people that are trying to stop C-Spray and Octo Punch, so they'll have the build bots to try to counter that, or they'll try to stop hacking, so they have the build bot course to go to that. So for me, most of the build bots aren't going to be a threat for me unless it's FFD. And for that, you know, I got the ranged options now. You know, I'll go run, let's say, I'll go run like Blast Off and do a one-shot on it, especially if it's next to something. So I'll actually go use his ability 11 and hit something next to the build bot and just try to do a substantial amount of damage. I'll use Brawl, Swindle, you know, whatever bots that I bring with me for ranged options at that particular time. And then at that point, I'll go run Cutthroat Smoke. So the delay in a lot of your ability uses, I think it's starting to become a little bit more helpful. But as far as, so that's what my 5-star looks like at level 61. So, you know, 355.5 damage and 34,730 health. Now we can compare that to my 4-star that I got on the test account. And I'll just pull him up real quick. let's see. So that's the stats that we're looking at on our 4-star Tantrum at level 63. So honestly, it's not too bad. So we'll throw him in there, see how he does with the rest of the team. Alright, so I'll stick Tantrum in there. Alright, so let me get Tantrum out front. And one of the things we were talking about was using it with Nemesis Prime. So I actually use this ability on there as well. And you can reflect a little bit in addition to having the protection from Nemesis Prime, in addition to Nemesis Prime protecting himself. And so for me lately, I've been going real heavy up front. And right now I don't really have anything to grab onto to kind of sacrifice Tantrum. But I did get a chance to pop No. And yeah, I can definitely see that being effective. Like I just really got high on Nemesis Prime over the past couple of months. I think that there are a lot of overreactions to the force field disruptor power core. Take the build bot out, guys. Take kind of like some of the guys were saying in the chat. Take the build bot out and then use the bots you want to use. If you got to delay a little bit, delay a little bit. But yeah, Tantrum, even at the 4-star level, I used him for a little while. Man, I even used him when I first got in the Prime League. The advice that I got was to not use him due to the FFDs. But that's under the impression that you want to use them early. You know, the MSMs don't really help either. But yeah. All right, so I got 2 more bots that I want to talk about as 4 stars, and I think I'm gonna talk about the next one. I think I'm gonna talk about is one who we don't have a 5-star. I think I'm gonna talk about Rod U and his Autobot counterpart Inferno, just for the sole reason that was a couple of reasons. So one thing that I look at I got him maxed out here, but I look at that he's got that ability 11 already. So that's cool. I think that, and let me see what I want to do here. I'll just go ahead and put a rejuvenate on But the biggest issue for me, the biggest praise that I give him is for, you know, he boosts the whole team. So right now I'm trying to go use a lot of more ranged options. You know, I can see I got Swindle, Knockout in there. I got Blast Off, running him with, well, I was running him with Fracas, but I moved it. So I'll actually go put that. Actually, I'll take him out. I put Acid Storm in. And so we got a lot of ranged options. And his ability is one that works well with other bots' abilities, but it also works for him if you're on your walk teams and you want to use it for that. Then you have a couple of different options, because you can use it on normal. You can use it on normal attacks as well. And so for a lot of times, I'll actually just keep Rod U really short. I don't try to actually lead off with him. And with a team like this where I've got Impactor and he can heal himself, and where I've got Nemesis Prime. Now, obviously, I can't use him right now because I'm under the effects of the FFT. but I can actually kind of spam each and every one of my tankier bots. Impact did, Sound Waves did, and Nemesis Prime is dead that I count because of his ability. And I can just tear through stuff really fast. Now I know some guys that actually will pair him up with like Motor Master or someone like that. And they'll just kind of alternate the attacks. And either way, I lost him pretty early. You know, the health is not where I want it to be. I'd actually like to see him as like a 5-star, but he got through there pretty quickly. So yeah. And Sean McKeon says, "I swear your list is the same dude that's helping me." Man, look, man, I'm in the horde too, so we talk a lot of the same logic, bro. And I honestly, it might be someone that I already talked to, but yeah, man, like that's what we're talking about. OS73 says, "I pair a Cola Gun with Dinobot to clear out kill zones. Trick is to use Dinobot's special ability nearby. Don't send them too far." So yeah, that's definitely the secret to using Dinobot. You don't want to send them too far. I'm curious about that tactic though, and I'm gonna do something. I'm actually gonna write that down on my notepad so that I can try that this week, because that seems like that'll be a really good tactic to use. Yeah, I'm curious. I want to try that myself. Cola Gun and Dino. All right, yeah. Now you gave me some homework. Thanks for that, OS73. All right, man. I'm about to get out of here soon. So the last bot that I want to actually talk about, I want to talk about exhaust. And I've said for a while, like my very first video, I think, was about Ability 11 tag came out at the time. My very first video was about those abilities, and I put exhaust in there. So let's see. And yeah, my dog is in here going haywire. So yeah, just give me a second. Alright, let's see. What do I want to do with him combat wise? I think that I might actually use Double Dealer here. I mean Double Crosser, excuse me, not Double Dealer. And Professional Husky has just joined the chat. How you doing, buddy? Alright, so and one of the few times that I might actually use double crosser, but I say I like the damage reduction for the whole team, especially if you're gonna use a bot that's gonna do damage reduction. Why not? I'll do Rejuvenate again. But my biggest thing that I like about exhaust is I like that reflective damage. I like the fact. So when we were talking about Tantrum and we were talking about Tantrum reflecting damage, I kind of look at exhaust like that's a Tantrum without rushing in, and I think that can be helpful in a lot of different situations. All right. All right, I say my dog was in there playing with a ball and he was scratching all over the floor. I had to go grab it from him real quick. But exhaust I really like a lot, just because a team damage now with all of your warriors, well, most of your warriors I should say, you have to deal with the possibility of like FFD. So like right up here up front, I got FFD sitting right there on this particular base. So for me, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and take that out real quick. And there's another one right in front of them. So let's see if I can take that out too. And oh, still another FFD. Yeah, FFD everywhere. And I did it too early. Yeah, I did that too early. Yeah, it's FFD everywhere on that one. So, but yeah, so certain situations that I'm really looking at harder. One of the ones that I'm looking at for exhaust is like when there are like we got a lot of war effects that come up every now and again, and some of the tougher ones are when the sharks come out. When they have the Sharkticons is MDS effect, and one of the things I want to test out is I want to see how exhaust responds to that. I don't know if that's been I don't know how that works. I'm really curious, but I'm definitely going to test that out and see if that'll just kind of protect the team from the sharks, or at least from the majority of the damage. Professional Husky has got a 5-star Fangtron, and he's had him since June during the anniversary event. And he asked, who is Fangtron good on? So earlier I was using Fangtron on Blot. I think that's a really good pairing. I've actually had good success using Fangtron on Ramjet, just because what I would do, like when you look at this outpost, like the one that I'm looking at right here, what I would do is I would bring Ramjet out and position him where Fangtron would come out. I'd let him pop the outpost, and then I'd go fly in the opposite direction to go pop other outposts. So that's one of the things that I like to do. I like him but I like him pretty good on most warriors, to be honest. Just depends on your team build. He's pretty universal, I feel like. But I just like the overall team protection that you get from exhaust. It's a nice long lasting ability. And it's one of those ones that just works well with the team overall. I like it. Actually like it a lot. And I think he's very much underrated. But yeah, let me know what you think, man. Who are your top 4-star warrior class bots? Let me know in the comments, and let me know in the chat. But alright, guys. But hey, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for joining the stream tonight. And honestly, man, like there's going to be a couple of changes that I'm going to be making to the stream and to the channel as a whole. So just bear with me a little bit. You guys probably noticed I had a little bit different of intro today. That's one of those things that I've been working on. And I'm also just going down. I'm also starting to cut some of my live stream segments into smaller segments. But yeah, that's one of the things that I'm looking at as well. So as always, if you like my content, go ahead and give this live stream a like, and share my content with everybody. We're almost at like 200 subscribers right now, and so trying to just continue to bump that up. I'm trying to continue to bump that up, and yeah, man, I'm just really thankful to have all you guys come and join me each week. So I really appreciate it. Anyway, live stream next week. Same time, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And I will see you out there on the battlefield, guys. Freezius out.